Hello friends, thank you so very much for coming to join me today. I'm just about to draw my friend Sidney. Here we go. I'm going to start off with a nice big round circle for his large lovable head. There we go, some crosshairs. Now I've known Sidney for, wow, a little over 7 years now. It's gone by really fast. And I love Sidney's personality. He's such a kind, gentle, calm individual. I love spending time with him. Okay, starting to get his features in there. What I love about Sidney the most is that he has these large, optimistic eyes. Eyes that see the good in everything and everyone that he meets. I love the possibilities that he sees, the ways that everything can turn out for good. Start working on that big, adorable mouth of his. Okay. Let's see, I'll start hashing out some more of his details. Sidney has an amazing personality, and I've always really loved him because he's such a gentle, meek personality. He's very easy to to discourage, or it's very easy to make him insecure about himself. But when he starts talking about something that he believes in, he becomes suddenly courageous, and I've always admired him for that. The ways that he just kind of puts himself on the back burner and stands up for things he believes in. There we go. Just hashing out a little more of his face shape. Now, a mutual friend of ours actually pointed out to me when I started drawing portraits of Sidney that he gave them the impression of a stuffed animal because he was so round and fluffy, especially with this great big adorable pompadour that he has. It always made me think it made him look like a cub. Just kind of gave him that aspect like he'd never grow up. He'd always stay young and adorable forever. But of course, these are things I would never personally tell Sidney himself, because he has a very delicate self-esteem, like I mentioned before. And if I ever give him compliments, he turns kind of red. Actually, he turns very red. Now, when I first started drawing Sidney, I got the impression that he was a white tiger. But when I took him to the color store, he actually picked out a nice orange color. When I asked him why, he said that he just loved being associated with like the colors of autumn or more earthy tones. Blowing kisses to Sidney. All right, here we go. Starting to see his eyes. And it was interesting to me that he decided to choose orange, since that's a common color for tigers. Since tigers can come in a couple other colors, such as white, or I've even seen some that look kind of cinnamony colored. And once I heard that there were rare instances of tigers actually being black with white stripes. Something that I found very stunning. But it was actually impressive to me that he chose a very common tiger color. He's not afraid of being average, and that's a very rare attribute for people, especially for someone who I know doesn't realize how great he truly is. See, Sidney is a visionary. He has amazing dreams and hopes for this world. He believes that we can work toward a future where we don't have to worry about species becoming endangered or going extinct, where we can work toward a clean future with no pollution, and where we can just be able to live a more symbiotic and peaceful relationship with our Earth and with each other. And to work toward that goal, he actually started to form an organization of endangered species for endangered species in his hometown of Menagerie. And for those of you who've been reading my comic, Wild Menagerie, it is based off of a lot of his experiences as he started to build his organization. And I hope you've been enjoying it. And I know that he'd greatly enjoy to know that you've been enjoying it too. I was actually very overwhelmed and honored when Sidney asked me to become the official artist. Let me turn that, of Wild Menagerie. And it was an interesting point that he made when we were talking. He said that he felt that the best way to help people care about something is to let them know about it, to let them feel a personal connection to it. So he was willing to let me just start telling people about what he's been doing and what he and his friends have been going through. Because he knows that his cause it's a good one, and all you have to do is get the word out. What impresses me about what he and his friends have been doing is that they're not being able to really tackle the big things just yet. A lot of times they're just struggling to keep the light bill on in their building at the Endangered Species League. But they do what they can every day, and that's actually something I remember Sidney telling me, that if everybody took the time to do what they could, where they were at, with who they were with, and the resources they had, that our world would be a whole lot better, because it's individuals, it's communities, it's everyone doing their part that leads to a greater whole, that leads to a bigger impact. Kind of that snowflake example where as individuals, snowflakes are fragile, but when they stick together, they can create avalanches and all sorts of things. Go. Getting around to his big cheeks. Oh, Sidney is so cute. With how fluffy and round Sidney is, I usually have a hard time not hugging and petting him a lot. It's because of how adorable he is, but he's such a respectable tiger. He's fresh out of college, and he's living with his Nana, which is something that a lot of people in our age group are doing, and that's not a bad thing. I think that's something he actually mentioned to me too, is that his organization isn't just for what's endangered as physical animals, but also just what's endangered with culture. The idea that a lot of people kind of forget to spend time with the older generations. And he never takes his Nana for granted. She raised him, and he's always grateful for the input that she gives. And he's always grateful for whatever help that she offers. She's very supportive of what he does. Go, starting to color in his stripes. Sidney told me something interesting, and you may or may not know this, but tigers all have very unique stripes. You can never have the same stripe pattern on any two tigers. They're unique just like human fingerprints or zebra stripes. There's actually a great deal of uniqueness and diversity in nature itself, and that's what makes nature beautiful. Nana actually told me about when she does her floral arranging, that to make a floral arrangement beautiful, you make sure to use odd numbers, like you use 3 roses, not 2 or 4. You make sure that there's uneven sprigs and that you work toward asymmetrical design mixed with symmetry. And when you balance what would almost be something you would find in nature, it looks right to you. Nature just really celebrates what makes us different and what makes us the same. Nana is a very deep soul from time to time. And I think that's where Sidney got a lot of it. He's such a sweet old soul. Get his shoulders. Nice strong shoulders that are currently carrying the weight of the world. He's such a big idealist, and he believes in so many things. And as his friend, I really hope that all his dreams come true, and that's why I'm so excited to be working on this project. Go. Now, I've always admired that Sidney decided to choose to wear a long necktie versus a bow tie. He feels it makes him look more mature and responsible. I feel it does. Makes him look very debonair. The other thing I thought was unique, though, is that he decided to get several of only one design of tie. Like, he has this green tie with a single blue stripe in the middle. When I asked him why in the world he would buy like 10 of all this one tie, he expressed that he liked that it represented the earth and the ocean. So even in his attire, he's he's sharing his environmental message. He's so committed to his dream. He'll get in his nice, soft tummy right there. Now working on his shoulder stripes. Now, if you are interested in asking any questions about Sidney or his hometown of Menagerie, or you'd like to write to Sidney himself, please feel free to contact me on our Facebook page or Instagram or any way that you find us, and I would be very happy to pass that along, because Sidney would love to know that people are getting to enjoy the comic and that they're becoming involved. That's his greatest hope, is that he can call people to action and that people in their own unique, beautiful ways can start making a difference. So please feel free to contact me, contact us at any time. We would be happy to start some good conversations and make new friends. Go, and I'm almost done with my portrait of Sidney. Here we go. The final stripe. And that completes my portrait of Sidney. So I will sign this off. I am Vanessa Compton, and I am honored to be the official artist of Wild Menagerie for the Endangered Species League. Here we go. So thank you again for watching, and have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time.